Hello, welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. My name's Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour. Hanging out, having some fun, doing some Q&A. I got the latest news, and then we're going to be questing inside of the game. So, the most important bit of news is that next week is Mariner Week in the Lord of the Rings Online. We're doing a press preview on Tuesday evening that's going to include a bunch of content creators, YouTube content creators, Twitch streamers, things like that. This is invitation only. If you do not have an invitation, you may not have been invited, but we also are going to be sending a few out here probably later today. So anyway, Tuesday is when that's going to happen. That'll be from 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have our first public bull roar preview of the Mariner. So, on Tuesday evening, we're giving press an exclusive first look at the Mariner, along with some content creators, to help facilitate videos that you'll see over the course of the coming days. Whoever you probably get most of your Lotra-related content from on Twitch and YouTube. And then we've got our public preview on Wednesday. So that's what we have preview side. So this is going to be your chance to really see the Mariner in action. And let us know how it goes. On my video is looking bad in my preview window. Did I freeze for like 12 seconds there? Because I just did on my computer. I don't know. I'm going to say no, because people aren't commenting on it. How weird I looked. Weirder than usual I looked in Twitch chat. So, alright, well that's the main bit of news, right? So we got a lot of exciting stuff happening next week. You're going to get your first chance to actually hit some buttons and check out a Mariner on Bull Roar if you want to. Now, that'll be set roughly for the future, and we'll have more information about where you'll get the Mariner on the live game worlds and things like that later. But we're ready to do our first preview of the Mariner, and so it's pretty exciting stuff. Okay, there was a video issue for next week, but also in the live game worlds, we have a lot going on next week as well. We have basically three events that are going to be kicking off next week. So the first thing to mention is that the Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariner is going to be arriving here in the near future. That would be next Thursday, starting at 10 o'clock Eastern. And if you'll give me just a quick second, let me call up something so I make sure I get the dates correct. Yeah, so the Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariners is going to kick off at 10 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, September 14th, and continue until 3 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday, September 20th. This is an event that returns every year. We're going to have an article on Lotra.com because, as we've hinted in the past, I know Orion has talked a little bit about it, we have got an addition coming to Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariner in the form of an entire new story with about 11-ish missions. It's technically 11 missions, although a few of them were kind of split up into two in the same mission. Anyway, Stowaway, the Old Man on the Shore, is going to be kicking off with the Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariners next Thursday. We'll also be running until 3 a.m. Eastern on September 20th, and we'll also be returning with this event every year in the future. This is a whole new set of missions and a story about a mariner that you'll be able to experience as part of this event. And there's even a cool cosmetic reward for completing it. You'll also get LIXP, I happen to notice, while running through these missions. So at the very least, it might be an easy way to fill up that LIXP meter. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, the story is totally Mariner related. That's as much as I want to say. It's called Stowaway, the Old Man on the Shore. I got the chance to check it out this past week, and it's looking really good. So I think that's something to be very excited for. That's on Thursday, but that's not the only thing happening on Thursday, because also the Combe Forester event is going to be kicking off for its inaugural run. That'll be on Friday, September 15th, and I've got it running until 3 a.m. Eastern on September 25th. Let me double check those dates. Yes. The Forester crafting event will kick off at 10 a.m. Eastern on September 15th and run until 3 a.m. Eastern on September 25th. There is a guide for this over on Lotra.com. that you can check out if you want to. I suppose I could put that up on the screen here. There we go. But this is something that's going to be kicking off next week as well, and will be running for about 10 days, and then we'll be going away, and we'll come back here in the future. So it'll run for 10 days, be unavailable for about 2 weeks, and then come back. And that'll be the cadence of the Forester crafting event. I believe we call it the Comb Forester event. In the it's had a couple of internal names. Shorthand has largely been Forester crafting event. But anyway, Comb Forester event will be kicking off next Friday as well. So we have both Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariner, the new addition to it, and the Comb Forester event for next week. I do want to mention as well that we do have an update set for next Wednesday as well. Some of the things in that update will be able to let us do the final work on the Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariner and related things. So update 37.1 is expected to be released next Wednesday. Now, I can't put the release notes up on the screen at this time, but there's not too many of them, and I will just read them out loud. We have a fix for the Bjorning Skill Composure to replace both Hearten and Hearten Any form if spec'd into the Hide trait tree. Equipment with damage negation effects should no longer damage the player when it procs. That was a big one. That's a big part of it. We're increasing the size of the Riverfolk bed, Riverfolk hearth, and Riverfolk chair. They were a bit too small, even for river hobbits, so we're changing them by increasing them a little bit in size. On Guardian, Rupture will now correctly increase your enemy's incoming damage for the intended 5-second duration. For Guardian, many effects were erroneously set to expire after combat despite having regular durations, so that's been fixed. It'll just now be the regular duration thing. We have the work-in for the Forester crafting event that'll allow us to reopen that. Also, a little bit of work behind the scenes on Stow Away the Old Man in the Shore, and a few other little bits there as well. I do see there are a couple of other changes that are coming in, I believe, today. So there may be a few other things related to that. In particular, give me a second here. I'm trying to see if I can call it up. There's a bug that we have discovered this week related to reforging legendary items. There's some posts on the forums about that this week as well. And we have a fix-in for that for next week. I don't have the release note ready to talk about today, but we do have a fix-in for next Wednesday related to that. All right, so the only other bit I would make sure I call up on the screen here, this is something that is really new for the Lord of the Rings Online, and that is right now, through October 10th, you will be getting free rolls on the Gold Hobbit presents if you're a VIP. So that kicked off really over the past 24 hours here and is running through October 10th. So if you want to check out VIP, maybe this is a little promo to help encourage that. And if you are a VIP, it's a way to say thanks with some free gold rolls. So that's how that works. Gold Hobbit gifts. We do have a public event here, and I will get to your questions as well. This weekend's boost is a 25% loot box Embers and Moats boost. I would also point out that we have got the Baggins birthday coming up. That'll be kicking off on September 20th, so not next week, but the week following. Yeah, and a couple updates actually to the calendar for the year. I saw something come in as well through email. I'm going to need to update the public event calendar. We're adding just a few bits there for it. I don't know if I've got that called up right now or if I can call that up or not. Yeah, okay, so we're adding a 25% crafting XP boost on October 26th. We're bringing the Buried Treasure event back on November 22nd. And we have a 20% Virtue XP boost that we're going to be plugging in for December 7th. And I'm going to be updating the calendar on those things here within the next week or so. Alright, before I move on, I wanted to do one bit of, well, actually, I can think of one other thing on the community news side, but I did want to mention that this week we were able to expand the soundtrack for Before the Shadow. So, you know, I've been working in the past couple of months here to update all of our soundtracks on the Lord of the Rings Online side and on our YouTube channel, and we're now in a position to publish these last 5 tracks for Before the Shadow. That includes the stuff that came out afterwards, like the Sarkvorn, Barrow stuff, everything else that came out with that. So that is now available on YouTube. And on top of that, I did some work this week to get Update 35's soundtrack ready to go. So we should be able to get that released here in the near future. We did have a release this week, Update 37.0.1. You can read about that on Locher.com if you want to. Alright, I think I've covered all of the news. Alright, let me go get to some questions here. That's a lot of questions. Okay. Oh, I see. I've got the end of the last chat here. Ed Glanel said, within last week I asked you to submit a ticket regarding a bonus points issue. You had done that. It's taken a while to get your ticket, and you do not yet have it resolved. When can you expect on timing? I know that CS is working hard to go through a backlog of tickets. The debut of the new store did, of course, lead to an increase in tickets in some way as we work through transition-related issues. And some of these new store bugs that have been encountered are causing a pretty big ticket queue. They're working on it as fast as they can, is the best I can tell you. We always do want to provide the best customer experience we can. Sorry if we aren't able to live up to your expectation. Alright, Martin. Will the River Hobbit get Hobbit-style emotes? I have a question out on that. As soon as I learn more, I will let you know. I have not seen any changes to adjust them, and I have asked a question about it, but I've not yet received a reply as to what we intend to do there. When will we get the expansion pre-purchase and release window? I can't tell you today. I'm sorry. Perhaps in the near future you'll be able to learn more information about our intentions as to the when for pre-purchase of the next expansion and all that. So can't even say when you'll say, but it'll be in the near future. I don't know what the rarest thing in the Gold Hobbit gifts is. I would need to ask someone on the systems team to get me a link to the spreadsheet, I guess, and then do some work there. Are we still tinkering on the stat squish? Yes. Yes. And I think we'll see some adjustments to that in upcoming patches. Yeah, we don't publish our loot tables for Hobbit gifts publicly. There's a lot of stuff in there. They're big spreadsheets. Perhaps I don't know how much the community's been able to figure that out over the years or not. What did I say about the XP boost? What did I say about the XP boost? That would have been related to crafting XP. There's a 25% boost happening on October 26th. These are additions to the bonus calendar. that are coming in this week that I will need to update Locher.com on, and about and 20% Virtue XP from December 7th, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. So we have a crafting XP boost and a Virtue XP boost here happening in the future. Is that the XP boost you're talking about? Will the Umbar expansion include the Mariner class? We'll have more information about that in the near future, but yes. Will we see additional colors for Quest Tracker icons areas now that the Quest Tracker can track more than 5 quests? Everything below 5 is just white. I will need to figure out if that is actually intended to be the case or not. But it may just be sort of a byproduct of the system that's being used to expand the amount of things you can have in the Quest Tracker. Alright. I don't know. That seems like a nice usability change if we can get to it in the future. Blossomberry, I don't know the bug you were referencing related to the Elixir of the Valor. I apologize. Any new info about the 64-bit client? No, other than there are some folks on the engineering side who are continuing to work on it. They have weekly meetings of tracking the status and getting it ready for deployment. So we'll have more information soon, but no real ETA to announce or anything like that. Have we considered scaling loot on older raids now that we've increased the difficulty for over-leveled parties? No. I have not heard of any plans to redo the loot for all of our old raids. I'm not sure I completely understand why. I mean, just because it's harder doesn't mean you should get better loot. You know? I guess I'm not quite sure why the raids should provide over-level loot just because the gap in ease of completing it over level is down slightly. It would still be over-level loot, so that doesn't make any sense. Will the next update require a Bjorning or a Guardian respec again? I do not believe so. I have not seen any information that update 37.1 for next Wednesday has anything that requires a respec. All I can really say about when Civ will be joining me next is it's going to be in the near future. It'll probably happen fairly quickly. It'll be like, hey, what are you doing this Friday? 2 days from it happening, and him being like, oh yeah, I can do that. So it'll probably be fairly organic in terms of which week he joins me. But we did mention, we were in a meeting this past week where it was brought up, and he was like, yeah, we need to do that. Let's get it done. So we just need to schedule it and make it happen here in the near future. I think next Friday, though, is going to be pretty busy because we're going to probably run the new event related to Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariner with those new missions. We could also check out the Coombe Forester event as well. So I think there's quite a bit set for next Friday's show. And then on top of that, we could even talk about Mariner on Bullroarer and things like that if we want to. So I think next week is going to be out. Maybe the week after that, something like that. We're going to do it for both games. So we're scheduling one for Locher and one for DDO. And then one will be 1 week, one will be the next week. Is generally the idea of that. Squirrel, I don't know the answer to your question about how it tracks with the State of the Game letter that was released in January by Orion. I would need to check to see what we said we thought we were going to do versus what we intend to do. I have not heard of a plan for more further adventures from that, but yeah. Can I show my main character's vault? What have we got in there? Yes, maybe, but not this week. Reason being is I need to check see what I have in that vault before I just sort of blast down the air. I don't think there's much, to be honest. It tends to be a little bit of junk storage. When I have stuff, I think I've even got things that should just go into the wardrobe and that in there. So let me check out my vault first, and then if it's cool, I can show you the trash in which it contains. Titan wants to know about the lags, and also about updates to the VIP program. We just have this promo we announced earlier in the week here. Well, I guess about a week ago here. And we are continuing to work on improvements always to the VIP program. When we have more information that we can let you know about the when and the what, we'll let you know. In terms of the lags, it is something that we do have work being done, and each one of the most 4 or 5 recent updates has had targeted game improvement performance fixes. Update 37 being no exception. And future updates will also be containing some work that's been being done for, gosh, about the past year or so. So you've seen some improvements, and we'll be seeing more in the near future. Yeah, it's true. I mean, honestly, the thing is about the vault is I don't know that I actually use it that much. Not really. It's just a place to put things. So I am doing some questing in King's Gondor. And so I thought we would probably just sort of use the latter half of the show to hang out and do some questing. I've run all the story stuff here on stream, so now let's just sort of tackle some of the other bits. So maybe let's head over to Zarsatred? Is that how I say it? Zarsatred? Zarsatred? Well, that's a weird name. Yep. Where did I just see the stable master? The stable master's here, right? Where's the stable master? Yeah, I don't think... How many people would actually want to just sort of put...
I can't imagine doing anything else in life. I can't carry on being a guardsman anymore.
Of course I want an apprentice. The trouble is I have...
Thought we would just do some questing around here.
Need I remind him of what happened last time he came to visit me?
We will head to Zarsatrid in a second. Let me talk to some people first. I got some people I need to talk to. Where is the last... Here we go.
My father regretfully declines to take any new apprentices at this time.
So, yeah, news blitz as it were, I guess. I don't know that I've got a whole lot more that I can mention.
How can I be of service?
We are hard at work on the expansion. I mean, we have been, and we are continuing to be, but it's getting pretty close, which is why we're starting with our Mariner preview here in the near future, next week. And so there'll be a lot more in the coming weeks after that. You know, we'll have several previews on Bull Roar. So there'll be no shortage of information in the next week or so that we can... Not week or so. Well, yeah, I suppose, because there'll be a whole bunch of Mariner stuff that we can finally talk about. And you'll see it. News articles, hopefully, and even some live streams and such if people want to. So, could be pretty cool. Alright, so I am marking culling trees and searching for Gorian. And being attacked by bears. I can't give a ETA in the pre-order today, sorry. We'll have more information about that soon. We tend not to give a lot of info about the win on things like this, but I think we will have more information fairly soon. Have I ever rage quit Lotro? I don't think so. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been playing the game where I was like, oh my god, I just can't right now. You know, I can't think of a time where that's happened to me, actually. Lotro's pretty chill. I've done it in other games, for sure. Everyone has. But, I don't think I have on Lotro. So it's not that I couldn't. I just don't think it's happened yet. Okay, so now I am looking, there we go, off this way a bit. Well, I don't know that I promised to make a character on Brandywine, but yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. I'm down for that. Before I take a leap off the cliff. No. So right around here, huh? But I ain't seeing anything. There we go. But yeah, I have been thinking that with update 38, it might make sense to make a Mariner and then play the Mariner on the live stream And since I've pretty much always been on Landreval, I figured I would try a different server just for, you know, to spread it out a bit. And Brandywine sounds cool. So that sounds like a good idea. Why not? Mariners swim underwater? Well, I think they try to avoid that. I think that's, I mean, sure, but I think it's mostly about being not underwater. I am gonna still probably end up playing, you know, this character, though. What I really haven't decided what I want to do is whether I should really... Because as you know, when I've done this years ago in the past, trying, like, the idea of just sort of playing from level 1 all the way up to 140 on stream is a lot. It takes a long time when you're doing it like an hour a week, right? So instead, I might Valar up the character so that I can run more current content. You know, it's been a while ago now, but I used to get criticized sometimes for running old content because I was running the same character up on the level and all that sort of thing. And so I wonder whether on this Mariner, I want to play some of the low-level stuff because I need to learn how to play the Mariner, among other reasons. But, at some point, though, I might end up Valaring up, just so that I can have more recent content. Or I would just keep leveling up that person, and then when I do have, say, you know, end-game content to play, I would swap over to Stampion here on Landreval or something like that. I haven't quite decided which route I want to go with it yet. Alright. Just a couple of slashers. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Something like, you know, before the Shadow, maybe a little bit beyond or something like that. Then Valar up. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I have found that, you know, if I just... Especially if it's a class I haven't really practiced. I don't really know it. It can be a lot to just Valor to 140 and think you can do it. While I'm here, let me head off to the east then. Let's take care of that. And that's going to be defeating forest prowlers, wood snipers, a bandit captain. And then there is there's some ring there. Okay. That's true. I mean, I am, because of the position I'm in, I would have the ability to use free points, essentially, to Valar my character up. So what I can do is something like that. I could Valar up to 50, do some Moria, then do 105, do Minas Tirith Moria, then do 130. That, you know, that is a totally valid possibility. It's not something that we would expect, you know, an average player to want to do, but for the purposes of me on the live stream, yeah, I could totally do something. That would work. So wood snipers and forest prowlers. Okay. Any plans to collaborate with the Seattle Mariners baseball team? Yeah, baseball team. No. But, if the team wants to play Lotro, have them get in touch with us. We'll work out a deal. They are called wood snipers. All right. You know, I was thinking about a hunter actually as well. Way back in the day, I played a hunter from like, I guess it was about 2010 to 2013, something like that. So very old. And I haven't really played a hunter since. So that would be cool. The only reason I'm not going to do that this time though is because of the Mariner coming out. It makes sense to play a Mariner. But if I do a third character, then a hunter might be just right. I did really like playing my hunter. Any chance to collaborate with a thing called the Umbar Cafe in Spain? That's fun. So I remember, gosh, when was that? Wasn't there at one point in, maybe it was DDO, there was some beer company that got some permission from us to do like labels on their thing once. That happened. It was some kind of limited time beer release thing. I can't remember which game that was now. I think that's the closest we've ever come to anything like that. Or was it coffee? I can't remember what it was now. Huh. I would say that the next time we have a community meetup, word is I've got some small shirts. These are some of the old stock shirts. And all we have left is small. That's the only things we have left. Some of the old word shirts. And a few SSG shirts, I think, too. And I'll be bringing those to the next community meetup. Whenever that might be. Potentially PAX East seems like a reasonable possibility. Having a meetup on the East Coast gives some rare item codes, a couple of huge size carry-alls. I think it's okay to give away in-game items for events like that. Like there was a PAX East in 2012, 2014, something like that, where we gave away some codes. But in general, you want to be careful about that, because it's a very easy way for items to sort of be gone. Or, you know, you've used your one chance to bring out something cool. So even if you bring it, like, say, then add it to the Ally reward track or something like that in the future, you're going to have people who's like, I already have it. And they're not wrong, you know. They do. And so I think sometimes you're better off with physical swag, being as that is something that you can't do otherwise, in my experience, rather than giving away in-game items. But that's cool too. So maybe. Yeah, there always will be a long list of items that have become orphaned over the years. We try to maintain a list that we pull from fairly regularly, just to try to bring these things back. But even maintaining that kind of list, once you get into kind of deep into the weeds of history, as it were, can be a challenge. What did we say about it? Did we call it exclusive? Etc. And, but a lot of times we can, so. And especially in recent years, it's been something that, you know, we've been working on. Orphaning cool looks, in particular. Not necessarily the items. Sometimes there are reasons the items are no longer around. But, in cases where there are items that have been orphaned that it makes sense to bring back, we love doing that, so. Well, and I mean, sometimes it's legal reasons. You know, there have been a very few items over the years that I think most people are aware of that if we tied it to a pre-purchase exclusive for some, you know, and use those words, typically that version of the item cannot come back. Now we can make a variation of the item and then bring that back, but the actual item itself is something that we committed to. Making a pre-purchase exclusive, which is why we tend not to do that so much these days. But there are just a few over the years that have gotten into that state. Not too many. And then there's a few items where it's like maybe there was some specific issue with the way they were statted or something like that. And that issue was very beneficial, perhaps, to your, you know, some kind of super OP item or something like that. But for the most part, things just kind of naturally come and go over time, and as systems get replaced and updated, certain looks might disappear and what have you. And that's just sort of how it goes in a long-running online game. You do your best to bring it back based on demands and everything else. Whether it be a modes vendor or a figments vendor, you know, event items, maybe we can bring it back there. Hobbit gifts is another place which, you know, can be a good place to put that kind of thing. LI reward track. But even then, you know, it's often, you need to, like then if you update the LI reward track, you want to make sure you remove, or, you know, re-add to the list things that are currently unavailable, for example. And so there is maintenance that has to be done on an ongoing basis to be able to do that kind of thing. trickier than expected. Alright. I just need a couple more forest prowlers. Lots of snipers, not a lot of prowlers. So I think we have done variations of above Monwee's suggestion, which is to have some kind of pre-order pocket earring, but it is actual armor that gets powerful as you level, but then stops at 140. So, I mean, that we could do something like that. I don't know that... You know, it opens up a can of worms related to... So now you've got your one armor, and that's the only armor you're ever going to want to wear up until level 140. Unless it's not as good as the other armor you want to wear, but then it's not necessarily the armor that you want. So why would you want to make a purchase of armor that was either OP and thus made everything else invalid, or you would have something that wouldn't be invalidate other armor, and then all of a sudden, why would people wear it? And it levels with you, so it's not just a problem at a specific level band, but it's a problem throughout the entirety of the game experience up until, in your case, level 140. So now you've got like the one armor that you should wear from level 1 to 140. And in general, that kind of thing needs to be done exceptionally carefully, shall we say. Oh my god. I need these sneaks. Where are you? Maybe I will just give up on the prowlers. It is level 140 ... now. Well, I don't know that I want to look for two more. Actually, I'm in the wrong place. Anyway. But let me take one last pass through, and then I'm gonna go turn in this quest or two from Zarsatrad. Alright, I'm heading back. I'm not seeing any more forest prowlers. Idle animations on NPCs. It would be cool to see them change over time. But we have a blacksmith whose job is never done, for example. It's just sort of how it works. Besides, isn't that like what's hot right now? Isn't that what all the kids are doing on the TikToks? Being NPCs.
Welcome back. I hope your tree hunting went well.
You're the definition of motivated. I wish my
Why, thank
workers
you.
had just as much get up and go.
Alright, well, unless I'm going to defeat Prowlers, let me head down to Pelargir. Oops, there we go.
Well met, friend.
That'd be Westgate. Being able, yeah, Galdwin, being able to select LI reward track stuff piecemeal is something that, you know, I think if we ever had the ability to overhaul the system might be a feature that would be nice. Although we want you to collect this stuff, and the downside of that is then it's easier to, quote, miss claiming your rewards. So you could just claim and trash, etc. But, you know, that functionality would be something that some folks would like, so... Alright, so I am heading across the river, and then off to the right. Okay.
You there. Are you looking for work? Of course you are.
Alright. So on the way back, I can visit the one dude and then pick up some stuff. Any chance I'll get my own NPC in The Lord of the Rings Online? Probably not. I mean, I'm not that special, for one. And for two, there's a lot of people who work on the game. Does that mean everyone gets their own NPC? Maybe that would be cool. But that feels like a lot of work and maybe a little hubris. Not that it wouldn't be fun. But I'm just saying.
Ah, I remember you. Othor didn't think I would, but I do. Ah, truth be told, this is a tight spot we are stuck in.
All right. So we've got about 5 minutes left in the show. If you've been itching or waiting to ask a question, now's a pretty good time to do it. I would mention, related to the preview that we're doing next week for Mariner, that I am helping the people who are organizing it, but I am not the person organizing it myself. So, like, for example, the invitations in that will not be coming from me. They'll be coming from our publisher, Daybreak, who's doing the work to organize this exclusive press preview with some of the outlets, in addition to content creators there. So, while I'm around to, you know, answer some questions and help get things done, I'm not the person who's actually running it next week. So, you know, in terms of am I on the list and things like that, that's not something I necessarily have visibility to. You will get an invite within the next day or so if you are invited. And if, you know, we'll see. Every time we do something like this, we try to add a few more names to the list that we've been able to identify from the last one and things like that. But these are generally larger content creators, targeted people we've worked with in the future, or, you know, in the past. And it's an invitation preview, so. And for everyone. I got one herb left. There we go. I think the bigger question would be, is if I were an NPC, what would I do? I don't think I would want the responsibility of having to do anything important. So...
We started out feeding the shipbreakers and shipbuilders, but before we knew it, half of Pelargir began lining up for our food. We never expected to be so popular.
Perhaps I would need to update my understanding of what games and game types are available in Middle-earth. I'm sure there are some excellent resources out there to do that. But one possible thing that I could do, were I an NPC in this game, would be to play some kind of Go-like board game, if that exists. If a board game like Go maybe exists, I could be playing that. That might be a pretty fun nod to me. Oh, maybe that's what it would be. It would just be a cat is always on, like, getting in my way on my lap. That could be fun too. Actually, yeah, scratch that. Don't bring me into the game. Bring my cat. Put Lizzie in Lord of the Rings Online. Miss Elizabeth Bennet. I will cede my position to her. You don't like the look of the color of the mobile version of the forums. Okay. I would need to provide a screenshot if you do submit a bug report on that. I actually need to... It's been a while, but when I call up the mobile forums, it looks just like the regular forums. So... Well...
We must not let our vigilance lapse.
Alright, well, I think this will be about as good a place as any to wrap it up for this week's show. Thanks so much for joining me on Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'll be back next week with a whole bunch. I think we're going to run the new event connected to Tale of the Ancient Mariners. We will probably check out the Coombe Forester event, and who knows, maybe we'll even check out Bull Roar and create a Mariner just for funsies. So, thanks for watching. These shows go up on YouTube after they're done here on Twitch, And we do have a full Twitch schedule all day today and weekend, so please check out twitch.tv/LotraStream for all the latest streams. Have fun, everyone. Hope you have a great weekend.